Hello everybody and welcome back to another guide for players who suck. Today we're going to be taking a look at 3 unique alternative money makers that you can do if you're getting burnt out from doing more efficient gameplay. Now, before anybody goes in the comments talking about oh, a real bro, these are terrible money makers, shut up, because first and foremost, these are all fun things you can do in the game. They are a way to break the monotony of the grind of old school RuneScape, while at the same time providing you with decent GP per hour to make up for it. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is Soul Wars. Soul Wars is a minigame that was released earlier this year, and on release it was stupid popular for about a week, and then it kind of died down a little bit, and people kind of forgot about it. Ipso facto, there are official Soul Wars worlds, and if you go to those worlds, there is always enough people to game up with. So the main reason why I like Soul Wars is because it's a PvP-based minigame. I suck at PKing. I feel like I started the game too late to be good enough to go out into the wilderness and hunt players like a lot of people do. But Soul Wars gives you an outlet to try PvP out without risking anything, and you can use your best gear. The reward for the game is Zeal, which you can earn a ton of different ways. I don't want to go too in-depth about the game because I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long, but if you bury bones in your team's graveyard, kill some other team's players, and attack the other team's avatar and do a little bit of damage every game, you'll earn near the maximum amount of Zeal every game. The maximum you can get if you win a game is 60. The maximum you can get if you lose a game is 40. A Spoils of War crate, which is the reward that you'll purchase from the Nomad using those Zeal tokens, costs 30 Zeal. Each Spoils of War that you open translates to roughly 90,000 GP. If you're decent at the game and once you've done it a little bit and gotten the swing of it, you can get about 120 to 200 Zeal an hour, which translates to 4 to 6 of those Spoils of War per hour. That translates to 360 to 500-ish K an hour. And again, that's all dependent on luck. Sometimes you'll open up a Spoils of War and it'll only be worth 30K, but generally you'll make some pretty good money doing this minigame, which is why I like to do it whenever I get bored from skilling or training Slayer. The next moneymaker that we're going to take a look at is killing Sarachnis. Sarachnis is a boss located in the 4th OS dungeon, and it is ridiculously easy for how much profit you make an hour off of it. And it kind of amazes me that I hardly ever see anybody else mention this boss as a good moneymaker. Once you account for your supplies that you'll use, you'll be netting about 600k an hour on average. Plus, if you're still training your melee stats, this is a pretty decent way to train. You can get almost 60k XP an hour in any specific stat, and for something that you make money doing, that's pretty good. Sarachnis also has a pet, so if you suck at other PVM challenges and you don't like doing the harder stuff, try taking on Sarachnis. You'll make some pretty decent money, and you have a chance at getting a sick pet that I hardly ever see anybody with. Mechanics-wise, you'll have to switch your prayers whenever Sarachnis webs you from Protect from Melee to Protect from Range. When you go back to attacking her, you just switch back to Protect from Melee. Twice during the fight, when she's at 66% and 33% health, she'll spawn 2 spawns of Sarachnis. One's a mage, one's a melee minion. You can kill them if you want. If you're high enough level, you can tank them. They're really not that difficult, but the mage one might eat into your food supplies a little bit, so that's why I usually kill them. It's entirely personal preference. On average, each Sarachnis drop is worth about 30k. You can usually kill Sarachnis anywhere from 30 to 40 times an hour, depending on how good you are and what gear you're using. That's where I get that 600k an hour number from. I try to shoot on the conservative side, but it is definitely possible to make more than that when you're killing this boss. Since it isn't a super popular boss to kill, it's really easy to find an open world, which is another reason why I really like doing this boss. I know everybody knows those feelings you get when you're trying to do God Wars dungeon on like a Friday or Saturday, and every single world is filled. You'll never have that problem killing Sarachnis. The last moneymaker that we're going to take a look at is killing the Grotesque Guardians. This boss is the only one of the 3 moneymakers that I've talked about that actually has a requirement for it, and that is that you have to be on a Gargoyle Slayer task, which does require 75 Slayer. However, I do see a lot of people that kind of ignore killing this boss in favor of just killing the normal gargoyles. And whether that's because they feel like this boss is just too easy or the money just doesn't justify the time, I disagree. I think that it's a fun enough challenge to take on, and the money is just fine considering that it is a pretty easy boss. Before you can start taking on the Grotesque Guardians, you do have to get a brittle key from normal gargoyles. I think that has a drop rate of 1 in 150, so you should get it within 1 or 2 tasks. And once you have it, and again, this is just my opinion, I don't really see any reason to do the normal gargoyles again, unless you just want to get that task over with quickly. You will make bank doing this boss. It hardly takes any inputs, just prayer potions, range potions, and super combats, and each time you kill the boss, you net an average of 45k. If you have an average kill time of about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you can kill about 25 of these an hour. That translates to 750 to 900k an hour, with an upper range of over 1,000,000 GP an hour depending on your luck. There's also a pet that you can get called Noon, and in my opinion, it's one of the dopest pets you can possibly have in the whole game. Unique-wise, you can also get the G-Maul from this boss, which you can get from the normal gargoyles, but I'm pretty sure the Grotesque Guardians drop it at a higher rate. There's also the Black Tourmaline Core, which still goes for over 1,000,000 GP, and the Jar of Stone, which I believe as of the making of this video is worth 1.5 million GP, which is one of the more pricey jars that you can get from a boss. Now, I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about the mechanics of this boss because there's a ton of video guides out there on how to do it. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch a 12-minute long video just to learn about how to make some money. I just wanted this to serve as more of a reminder that this boss does exist. And if you get a Gargoyles task, it might be more worth your time to do this than it is to just put on a Guthan set and AFK. And I'm going to go ahead and end the topic of money making there. Those are just the 3 methods that I like to do from time to time whenever I'm getting burnt out from doing something else. Grotesque Guardian's more of just whenever I get a Gargoyles task, I prefer to do those versus just normally killing Gargoyles. And the real reason why I wanted to make this guide was because I get kind of bored of doing Vorkath over and over and over again. I get kind of bored doing Zulrah over and over and over again, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too. It's pretty easy to get burnt out at this game when you're doing the same thing over and over again. So it's fun to change it up every now and then. And these are just 3 different ways that I like to do it that are just a little bit different and are some things that I don't normally see a lot of other OSRS YouTubers talking about. If you guys have any other weird moneymakers or just moneymakers that you don't see a lot of other people doing in general, feel free to leave a comment about it below. Other people I know, just like me, like to read the comments on videos to see what other people are saying while they're listening to the video. So if you have something that you want to throw in there, feel free to do it. I always appreciate reading the comments. I got a lot of nice comments on my last video, and that made me feel good that it was actually watched. I've got a couple of ideas running through the burner right now, actually. My next video will hopefully be a guide on how to do Fasani's Nightmare for players who suck. I am still trying to do it consistently myself, so please give me some time to get that one out. But once I do, I'll post it on here, so if that's something you want to see, consider subscribing. If not, no harm, no foul. Anywho, have a good one.